Hi everybody, it's Mark Hanna, Grecian Formula. It's getting down to the wire now. Endgame here. It's October 1812, the campaign in Russia. War game, war and peace. Napoleon's won the decisive victory near Borodino, and the Russians are going to have to skirt around the edges now, it looks like, and try to... They probably can't get a victory, but maybe they can pull off a draw. So let's see what happens. October is going to be a turn of maneuver. Here we go. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.
Okay, folks. Hello again. It's Mark, Grecian Formula here. And we're starting the October 1812 turn. And it'll be the French turn following up after their big victory here. The Russians have pulled back into a pretty large stack here. That may be a mistake, but they wanted to get across this river and make it a little bit hard for Napoleon to try to take them on again. And in fact, Napoleon may not want to do that. He might instead just take Moscow here, and the Russians will then be out of supply, so they'll be hard-pressed to do any attacking in the Moscow sector. So they're going to secure Moscow. Over here, continue the siege of this town. This is, what is that? That's Minsk. Okay. Right, north of the Pripyat marshes there, of course. Okay. So, that's the plan here. We're going to do the attrition roll. One thing I've done... Sorry, I really found that the components are not as useful solitaire as this old chart. Here I'm going to show you the old chart. I've now weaponized, so to speak. As you can see, all the information you need is in one nice spot. The attrition table's here, the combat table's here, the force launch chart is here, the turn sequence is here. None of these have changed in the new game, so this is a lot more convenient for solitaire play. The real game has two massive charts for the leader stacking, which is helpful. As you can see, there's not much room for the leader stacking in these games, in this old game. So there's one chart for the coalition, one chart for the French side. And so, yeah, that makes sense if you're playing a two-player, for sure. But this whole little display here has been replaced. I'm going to pan over here to this on-map chart, this massive on-map chart, which really, is quite nice. I have to say, I mean, I'm not complaining about this. I'm just simply pointing out that this is a lot more convenient to have for the solitaire play. All right, so that point's been made. So let's go ahead and set this back up. Trying to position this so we can see everything here. You're going to see Bagration here. He's going to be within range of Brest-Litovsk. These guys here either need to take Warsaw, Smolensk, or St. Petersburg to have a chance. Not St. Petersburg, Moscow. Once the French have that, they don't need to worry about St. Petersburg up here. They just need to hold those cities to win. And so the Russians are playing for a draw, it looks like. I think they've taken too many losses. The Pyrrhic victory by the French down here at Brest-Litovsk, actually it was a Pyrrhic victory by the Russians. They lost so many steps that they really haven't recovered in this area. But it looks like we're going to have to do some maneuvering to make a play for Smolensk or Warsaw over here. But we're jumping the gun here. This is the French turn. So let's do the French attrition, and then I'll do a move after that to reflect, I think, what the best strategy will be after the attrition result. Let's get the jolly old dice out. Again, we are playing with the standard rules, which honestly requiring an attrition roll for the whole map, which can then vary from side to side in tremendous amounts, I don't think it actually reflects the best way to play the game. In the future, I'll be playing this game with a variant, probably just rolling for each stack each time to reflect the local conditions where the army is hanging out. That actually makes a lot more sense to me. Anyway, here's the French cumulative, original roll. A 4, not the greatest. All right, so we'll adjust that for modifiers, take care of the attrition, and then we'll do some movement. Okay, here's the maneuver situation after the attrition. Napoleon and Davout have moved up to take Moscow. Send a cav over here. Just don't have enough infantry to cover it. I really don't want to use a cav for that, but Smolensk is taken over. I move the guard down here, so you'll see that Victor's got nothing but a contingent of guards there, so it should make it tough for that siege to be broken. Even though the Russians aren't in really a position to try to break that siege at the moment. So that's the situation. Napoleon's created a double supply line through here and through here so that they can't loop around and take out both supply lines easily. They still might be able to. They might send some Cossacks, 1, 2, 3, 4, see if they can force march 2 down there. Okay, because the Cossacks can withdraw before combat unless there's more cavalry coming after them than they have. So it's time to send out the Cossacks on some raids. But again, focusing on the French turn, they're trying to bring some reinforcements to the Warsaw area and Brest-Litovsk. The Russians need to make a move on that now. These guys will come down and try to take Riga, at least try to get some possibility of Napoleon being sent back home or something. Because right now, having taken at least one more city, 2 cities, the city points, the French are now at 3. And I won't show this to you, but I'll put the marker there. That means they're down from 7 to 4. Sorry, no, they're at 5. So the discounting whether or not the alliance display should or should not have the main powers, I don't think they're supposed to. Because if it did, England should be on there and Spain should be on there. So we'll just leave that aside for the moment. The French have 6 points in the alliance box. 3 for cities, 3 for victory points. And the Russians have 5 for city points and 1 for victory points. They're Pyrrhic victory at Brest-Litovsk. So what remains to be done is here the ongoing siege effort by Victor. Let's see how facile I can move with these tweezers. Oh, look at this. Nearly a professional. All right. So on a 1 or a 2, let's make this die roll visible, hopefully without killing any units, and let's see. Ah, look at that. The French have succeeded. That eliminates all those steps in the city, turns it over to the French side. And there shouldn't be I'm not sure why there's an entrenchment there. That's supposed to be the fort. Tormasov is taken prisoner, so he's eliminated, as well as his units that were with him. And that will now make the victory points equivalent for each side on cities. As the French now have 4, the anti-French have 4, and that gives Napoleon an edge in the diplomacy phase coming up next turn. So that was probably a very important role there. So we'll see. It doesn't look like the Russians are in a position to really stop the French at this point. The French did take, I don't know if I mentioned it yet, 5 attrition steps, 2 of which were cavalry. However, Russians have a massive stack here that's going to be out of supply, so That could be a pretty bad attrition roll there if they roll poorly. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. I did that massive stack to prevent Napoleon from taking him out piecemeal. But now we'll see if they just might have lost as many by attrition anyway. We'll find that out here shortly. That is the end of the French turn. And we can now move on to the Russian turn. Okay, so we'll step into the Russian turn here after a brief pause. And we're just going to roll the attrition result here. The main fact is they really need a decent thing. I think I have 21 steps up there for Kutuzov. So let's see what he rolls up there. He's going to have a +1 because he's out of supply. Everybody else is in supply, but in Russia, but a friendly country. So reasonably low roll, they'll be okay. And it is okay. All right, we'll find out what they lose over here with Kutuzov, and we'll get back to you. Okay, so not too bad. Kutuzov is the only person who lost anything, and he lost 3 steps. The French had lost 5 on their turn, so that's not too bad. Okay, so we'll place the reinforcements. Now that Moscow's taken, I can put them at the nearest city to Moscow. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 hexes away. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes away. But as the crow flies, that would be 5 hexes away. So we're going to have to see what the rule stipulates, put on the reinforcements, and go from there. Pausing the tape. Okay, so we have an unfortunate ambiguity in the rules. There's 3 or 4 uses of the word nearest. It does not specify in terms of distance or movement points, except in one specific case where it's pointed out what nearest means. Since there's no other good definition of nearest, I think we have to use the definition based on movement points to Moscow. In that case, 1, 2, 3, 4 to this city up here from Moscow, whereas this city is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's got to be Alexandrov that the Moscow reinforcements come to. So that's where they'll be going. Okay. So the Russians have moved. I don't think you can see everything that they did here. Maybe you can. Right here, Bagration. There's a leader here with about 5 strength points. Kiev is open. That might be a mistake, but yeah, maybe the leader 0 should be at least something there. Eugene could. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Be difficult, but perhaps the leader should leave at least 1 strength point back there. Keep them honest. Okay, so we've got 4 strength points, 8 strength points, 18 strength points. As you can see, they're poised to possibly swing over towards Smolensk. I tried to force some cavalry down here to get some supplies, but nobody could actually even leave the hex. I tried with 2 Cossacks. I didn't want to try with the Guards cavalry as well. 2 Cossacks up here. This leader's coming over to help out. I'm not sure what exactly he'll do. This is the new reemploy supply place for those strength points that come to Moscow. They're also out of supply. Wittgenstein's coming down here to make a move on Smolensk as well. So we'll see. There's going to be a confluence of troops here on Smolensk. And the French are going to be a little bit hard-pressed to do something about it. This threat by Bagration is less important. Yes, if they can get Brest-Litovsk, that will swing the tide back, so to speak, in favor of the Russians. So, interesting situation moving into November. I don't know if I mentioned it, but they lost 3 strength points of attrition in that big stack. So this kind of points to the fact that yeah, maybe it's okay to stack in big stacks if you want to minimize your cavalry losses. So anyway, the French look pretty strong, but the Russians are swarming around like hornets, and they have 2 turns to take either Smolensk or Moscow back, or even just besiege it. So, could be interesting. All right, let's put this up. Thank you very much.